I'm Jamie from Stillmeyer Games, and I am very excited to be here. Thank you for the extra time if you're watching this live. I had a playtest of a pre-production copy of another product that we're working on. Ran a little bit live, and I wanted to be here cool, calm, and collected to play what I'm really excited to play, which is Game 50 Round 1, featuring 3 fan-designed realms. We have Belfort from Ben Baker, we have Great Western Trail from Matt Scora, and we have Pandemic from Karel Tateka, one of our lead designer and developer for all the promo realms for Rolling Realms. So I'm going to jump right in. You can download these from the link that I provided in the description here on Facebook and later on YouTube. I'll provide the link there. And I'll switch the camera down when I start playing. So let's talk about them real quick. I'll just recap what they are a little bit if you're following along. So Belfort, I have to look at here. It says Belfort. Use a number to mark the indicated location type in any of the 3 sectors. 3 sectors here divided up. And Belfort, each sector has 1 of each type of location. There are walls, libraries, and gardens. Okay. Use the number 6 to mark any location type. After marking all 3 locations in a sector, gain its bonus. Okay. Score 1 star for each location type marked in every sector. So I'm trying to mark off all of the same location type if possible. 2 stars for having 2 marks in each sector. So I'm trying to do 2 in each sector. And 1 star for marking all 9 locations. That's a variety of ways to ramp up to get all 9 points if you want. Chad says, hopefully you had a good playtest. Hopefully it went long because it was so great. It was actually a great playtest. We have a few things to fix, but the playtest went really, really well. Great Western Trail. Here's Great Western Trail here. So you're going to gain a cow by circling it. Then, so it's I assume it's use a number to gain a cow. Okay, yeah, because the cows have numbers as their bodies. Then you may mark the delivery on the other rolled die. That die remains available, as we've seen in some other realms here. If you do, cross off all circled cows and gain the resources. So you're trying to gain some cows first, and then cross off all circled cows and gain the resources. Okay, interesting. Score a star when you cross off 2 unique cows in a delivery, and score 2 stars when you cross off 3 or more unique cows. So I'm trying to time almost when I don't use the other die. That's interesting. Last, we have Pandemic. A text-heavy realm here. Pandemic. Every turn, the non-assigned number of viruses, 1 through 4, spread, and you'll mark the leftmost unmarked box. Here's what that looks like here. Hey, Jonathan, Garrett, Julie. Julie says, love the cow images on each die. I do like that look there. And Garrett says, the life of this game is truly special and looking forward to its continued growth and success. Thank you, Garrett. I appreciate that. Also in Pandemic, if a virus spreads and its row is full, an outbreak occurs. Mark the 3 other rows. Normally you're just marking 1 of them. So it's a little bit like a realm that Karel designed later, the Bidian Walter realm. Outbreaks don't chain. To cure, first build a research station, similar to the actual game Pandemic. Build a research station using a 5 or a 6. After that, mark 2 cure boxes. Okay, so you're marking the station. Okay, build a station in general, not 1 per. Just build that station with a 5 or a 6. And then mark 2 cure boxes with equal numbers. Every cure must have a unique number. Cured viruses don't spread. When you complete a cure, gain all unmarked benefits on the virus row, including stars. Okay. So you're not gaining benefits when you mark them. You're gaining it when you complete a cure. This is going to be hard. All right, let's try this. I see Mark just joined us. Happy May 24th. He says this is a message from the future, May 25th. He's going to try to play along now and sleep. Then after, let's jump right in and play Belfort, Great Western Trail, and Pandemic. I'll turn my camera down here, or point my camera down so you can see what I'm doing a little bit. I'll scoot back. Let's jump right in. We have a 5 and a 2. 5 and a 2. Can you see what I'm doing here? There we go. Okay. 5 and a 2. So let's use a simple example for Great Western Trail. If I circled a 5 cow, I would have to, you may mark the delivery. Okay, so you may mark it for the other rolled die. And then if you do cross off all circled cows, okay. So I wouldn't do that in this case. I like that. 2 unique cows. Okay. 2 unique cows. Score 1 star when you cross off 2 unique cows. So cows that don't have the same number. Got it. And then pandemic. Every turn, the non-assigned number of viruses spread. The non-assigned number of viruses spread. Okay, so if I don't assign any number to pandemic, then I have to mark off 2 numbers there. So I definitely want to mark off something over here in pandemic. Wow. Okay, the non-assigned number. So the number, let's see, I'll use a 5 in pandemic to build a research station. And that means I'm not using a 2 in pandemic, so I have to mark off the 2. That virus is spreading. So I need to use the 2 someplace else, ideally to get a coin. Can I get a coin? After marking all 3. So these are resource difficult realms. Jackie says she's not positive she understands. I'm still learning myself, Jackie, but if you have any questions about a particular realm, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to try to answer it. These are fan-created realms, so I'm learning them as we go. So I want to focus on getting some coins out of this area of Belfort up here. So I will use the 2 to cross off the wall. How do I mark it off? I'll fill in the wall here. And I don't think I gain any benefits. I'm just marking it off after marking all 3. Okay, yeah, I think that is it. Roll number 2. A 5 and a 6. 5 and a 6. Oh, interesting. So for pandemic, I rolled a 5 or a 6, and so, oh, I see. There's only viruses 1 through 4, so 5 or 6s, if I leave them as unused numbers, that's great in pandemic. I don't spread anything. That's nice. I still want to move forward with pandemic, of course. 5 or 6. Let's mark off something else in Belfort so we can start to get those coins. Let's use the 5 to mark off the gardens in this sector. And then the 6, I'll put the 6 in, I'll put it in an area where I can get a couple stars, maybe a coin. Yeah, I'll focus on number 4 here. So I will put it down here, I think. I'll put a 6 right there. Still nothing in Great Western Trail. I do want to use it, but trying to get those coins first, and that's the fastest way for me to get coins. So, turn 3. A 4 and a 6. Okay? 4 and 6. So I actually think I can cure pandemic, and cured viruses don't spread. Yeah, this works out great. So, in pandemic, I can put a 6 right here, and I cure this pandemic. I no longer have to worry about 4s. And in doing so, I get 2 stars. I get a coin. Well, the coin's printed a little bit weird in my printer. They printed pink for some reason. And I get a pumpkin. And let's see, the 4. The 4 is, I'm going to use it over here in Belfort. So I will complete this sector. When I complete a sector, after marking all 3 locations in the sector, gain its bonus. So I gain 2 coins, 2 pink coins here. And I now have some coins I can finally use in Great Western Trail. So I will use a 1 coin to mark a 1 cow. So I'll circle a 1 value cow. And so what am I doing here? Later on, I may mark the delivery for the other rolled dice for each of these. So I could mark like a 6 off here, and I would cross off all circled cows and gain the resources. Mark the delivery for the other rolled die. The die remains available. If you do, cross off all circled cows and gain the resources. Okay, I see. So I could try to get different cows, though. That makes sense. Brian says, have you found that the continuous introduction of new promos has created steady sales with the other promos and ultimately the base game instead of slowdown? Looking forward to playing later. Printed, but resting up from a cold. I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling well, Brian. That's a great question. Here, I'll roll and then try to answer it. We have a 6 and a 3 here. 6 and a 3. I have seen that. Yeah, whenever we release new promos, it tends to remind people that the game exists, remind people that they have it, or maybe that they are interested in getting back off their shelf because they like the realms. It also helps keep the sales of the original promos going. I will say, Brian, that the objective isn't to sell more; it's to add value to people and add fun to the game itself. So the strategy is not to sell more stuff. The strategy is more to, add joy to tabletops. And the side effect, I think, is that whenever we release new realms, these are some of the things that happen. 6 and a 3. Okay. Let's maybe focus on hearts down here. 6, we are on different cows up here, and 6 over here. I would like to mark a 3 here. Yeah, let's mark a 3 in Pandemic. I'll go after maybe more coins, I think. Yeah. Well, it's going to be tough to get everything out of Pandemic, but there's a 3. And then the 6 can be, actually a 1 could be a wall. Let's use a 1 as a wall over here in Belfort. Mark off this wall. And then the 6, I will circle a cow. I could use another number, but I think I might wait. Or the 3, yeah, I'll wait for a different unused number there. Turn 5. What do you all think of these realms so far? If you're playing along live, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I'll share my thoughts at the end if I see anything that needs to be clarified a little bit. But overall, I'm really enjoying these. Great job. 6 and 5. Lots of 6s are being rolled, which helps at least with some flexibility with Belfort. That's nice. I would have loved a 3 for Pandemic, but I don't have it. I can use a 5 somewhere. So in Pandemic, I can't use the same number for a cure. I've already used 6s, so I need to use a different number. So I could use a 5 in Pandemic. So yeah, why don't I use a 5 right here? The 6 works in Belfort. Also works in Great Western Trail. Actually, the 6 is wild in Belfort. So I'll do a 6 for the gardens in that sector. And then I'll use a 1 in Great Western Trail for another 1 cow. I'm running out of time with Great Western Trail, so I might want to use the 6 to cross off this number. I would cross off all circled cows. I would gain 1 star as a result. I'd rather wait for 1 more. I'll wait 1 more. I can do it in 3 turns, I think. Maybe? We'll see. All right, turn 6. Brian says he love that the realms are supported. As always, Stonemarket's business perspective is refreshing. Thank you, Brian, for saying that. Yeah, and it's a great question, too. 1 and 2. We rolled a 1 and 2. Turn 6 here. 1 and a 2. I could start a new number in Pandemic if I wanted. I need a 3 or a 4 for this library, so I can't do much there. A 2 in Great Western Trail would be great. Yeah, let's do this. Let's circle a 2 in Great Western Trail. Oh, yeah, I see. So there is a kind of a flow to Great Western Trail because now I may use the other roll die. So I'll cross off this 1. And I gain a single coin. And then I cross off all circled cows. So not some, but all of them. I did cross off at least 3 different cows, and so I get 2 stars. That's good. And so 2 and a 1. I could also create a 1. Let's put a 1 over here, and let's create a 1 to keep moving forward in Belfort to get this wall crossed off. Still the possibility of completing Belfort. I think Great Western Trail is going to be tough. Possibility in Pandemic as well. Chad says, it's a cool move to try out these fan design realms, which I'm really enjoying doing, especially for these every 10 games that I play. A 1 and a 6 here. He says, I can't say that all publishers would take the time to interact with fans on the same level. I think more and more are doing stuff like this. I love seeing stuff like this. And Rolling Realms happens to be a great interface for doing this. But thank you, Chad, for acknowledging that. And Nathan says, good luck, everyone. I'll catch up later tonight. Thank you, Nathan. We'll see your realm soon as well. 1 and a 6. So I could use that 6 as a wild in Belfort. I like that. Pandemic. I could finish off. Oh, I might have missed something here. 1 and a 2. Yes, I did miss Pandemic here. So the 1 and 2, I needed to mark off the 2. I needed to mark off that one. So 1 and a 6. So I could use the 1 here in Pandemic. Let's do that. Let's use the 1 in Pandemic. So I get to cure this disease. I gain a star and a heart. So I've used the 1. I need to use the 6 someplace else. We'll use the 6. We'll use the 6 over here as a wild. Wild for that library. That gives me 2 hearts. And now I could copy, I think, this is a tough combination of realms for resources. I'll copy the 6 to circle this cow. Julie says, fun to try this out on the fly, wishing I had read the instructions beforehand. I read them last week or so, no, but a little bit before when I was selecting them, and tried to read them in advance here today. But yeah, another 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2 here. Okay. I needed a 3. Can I get a pumpkin maybe to turn it into a 3 for Pandemic? That would be great. Oh man. I don't think I can get a pumpkin. So I don't think that'll happen. 1 and a 2. So the 2, no. That ruins Belfort. The 2 can go in Great Western Trail. So the 1, I can't use the 1 in Belfort. I can't use the 1 in Pandemic. And so I need to just create a resource. I think I'll go with a pumpkin. Create a resource there. I don't get to use anything. And I didn't use the 1 or the 2, so I have to mark up both in Pandemic. Fortunately, the 2 is already cured, but I do have to mark off the 1 right there. So close. A better roll there. I think I could have finished Belfort and Pandemic, but I'm not going to get there. One final roll, though. Let's see how we do. Chad, I see you have a question about struggle now. Let me do this final roll, then I'll talk about it. A 6 and a 1. I feel like we've rolled that. Yeah, I have rolled that before. 1 and a 6. 1 and a 6. So 6 is good in Belfort. 6 is not good in Great Western Trail. We needed those middle numbers, 3, 4, 5. 6 I could manipulate down to a 5 in Pandemic. But then I would miss out on the bonus of Belfort. But I'm not going to get a bonus over there anyway. Yeah, let's put that 6 in Pandemic. We'll manipulate it into a 5. I gain a heart, a coin, 2 stars, and then I didn't use a 1 in Pandemic, so I have to cross that off. That's fine. That's as far as I can get in Pandemic. Not bad at all. I now have a coin and a 1, and they don't do anything together. I need 3s and 4s. Yeah, so I cannot use this 1 again. And so I'll turn that 1 into a coin and then use the 2 coins that I have here to mark off a 2 to gain a heart. And the heart, and in doing so, I'll cross off all circle cows. It's 2 different circle cows. That will get me a star. So in Belfort, let's see, score 1 star for each location type marked in every sector. So I marked the wall in every sector. That's 1 location type. Score 2 stars for having 2 marks in each sector. I don't have that. And 1 star for marking all 9 locations. I don't have that either. Only 1 star from Belfort. That's tough. So my total score here, pretty low score, 9.2. I would love to hear what you scored. Let me know in the comments below. I'll address these in a second. Let me go to the comments, and then I will talk about what I think about these realms. Chad says, I found your video on Stroganoff very interesting. If they would have added a 5th player in Stonemaier games, do you think you would strongly have considered it? I don't know. There's a lot going on in the game. Obviously, in my videos, I highlight my favorite aspect. That doesn't mean that every aspect of the game is something that I love. I don't think so, but I do like the game, and I really like the use of the time track and the way they did a lot of cool stuff with the time track. Jonathan said he's doing his best to play along live. Definitely need to understand Pandemic a little better, but we'll see how I do. The other 2 are pretty straightforward, and I do like Great Western Trail a lot. Yeah, Matt does a good job with his realms. Mark says 9.4 stars. Tough combo indeed. So let's talk about these. So Belfort. I'll say right off the bat here. Let me scoot in and turn the camera up so I can look at you in the face a little bit while I talk about this. So I really liked all these. I think these are all really creative. They do a great job of representing what these games are all about. Jackie scored a 7.5. Totally good, decent score, I think, for this combination of realms. Belfort. So I wish Belfort, I would have liked Belfort, I think, to provide an instant benefit whenever I crossed anything off. Maybe a single resource associated with that area. And then have the completion benefit, get a star for completing that area. I think that would have been my slight preference. That would have taken away from one of these. But I think you could have fit that in. Instead of doing 2 stars for having 2 marks in each sector, do just 1 star for completed sector. But overall, it's pretty solid. Great Western Trail, I thought that was interesting. It took me a second to really understand what was happening with it. It's a little rough that you have to cross off all cows, but that does make sense when you finish the trail in Great Western Trail that you do have to mark off all of your, or get rid of all of your cows. I believe it's been a while since I played. Julie got a 9.5. Well done, Julie. Philip got an 11.6. That's the best score I've heard so far. Great Western Trail. What else would I do over there? Yeah, I wish it. I also wish it was a little more resource friendly. But I guess early in the round, I could circle two cows with my first two turns, and then immediately on that second turn, I could cross off a resource, cross off those two cows. So I think it is resource friendly enough. Great Western Trail, I don't think I have any remarks. Just need to play it more than once. I think I fully understand it. Then Pandemic. Pandemic, you have to remember a few things, but I think it captures the theme of Pandemic really well. This is Pandemic condensed down to a realm. A little text heavy. Like, normally we wouldn't publish a realm with this much text up here. But would I change anything about it? I don't know. I didn't roll all that well to complete these, but I like the idea that these numbers need to be equal. I don't know if it's absolutely necessary that these numbers need to be different across each one. And that's something that you have to remember. It's easy to forget because it isn't indicated in terms of icons here. That might be the one thing that I changed. And also, this needs to be very specific about the timing of when this happens. I think it works out. You know, you hear something and then you immediately don't have to worry about it. I think it also might be worth highlighting that fives and sixes are freebies. Fives and sixes as leftover dice don't trigger, don't spread the virus, basically. Yeah. But overall, a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with these realms. Thank you for Ben, Matt, and Carell for designing them. Julie says she marked too many cows before delivering them. Wish I'd done that differently. Yeah, that's the same thing that I did. I marked off 4 cows. You never really want to mark off 4 cows at once in Great Western Trail. Ideally, it would be either sets of 2 or 3. Ideally, 3. And Mark says, love Great Western Trail. A fan realm, he would love for it to be published one day. Yeah, you never know. Might consider it. Yeah. Fun realms all around, and I'm looking forward to day 2. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully on time tomorrow, 3 o'clock for day 2, round 2. I'll see you then. Thank you all for playing. This was a lot of fun. Take care.